I've analyzed nearly 2,800 sold homes across Georgetown, Round Rock, Cedar Park, Austin, Hutto, Liberty Hill, and beyond. And the data tells a story that's completely different from the other parts of the county. Some neighborhoods are selling homes under 2 weeks. Others, well, they're sitting there for 100 days. So let's start with the question I get asked most. Is this a good time to buy or sell right now? And the answer is it depends on where you're looking and what you're willing to be strategic about. Median sales price across Williamson County is $410,000. That's up from the regional averages, but it's also reflecting a lot of range. Homes are selling anywhere from $80,000 to over $2 million. So that statistic alone, it just won't tell you much. But here's what does matter. The median home stays on the market for 33 days. That's the middle number. Half of the homes sell faster, the other half take longer. And here's the critical insight that I want to get across. 46% of homes are getting price reductions before they sell. That's not insignificant. Nearly half of the market is starting at one price, then coming down, then going under contract. The average total reduction when it happens is somewhere between, the average is 7%. The median is almost 6%. So what does that tell you? If you're a buyer, that tells you something important. There's room to negotiate. Homes aren't flying off the shelf like they were a few years ago. And you as a buyer, you've got leverage. Now, if you're a seller, this should tell you pricing matters more than ever. And you need to be strategic from day one. The list to sale price ratio right now is running about 98%. That means homes are selling for about 98 cents on the dollar compared to their last listing price. That is actually quite tight, and it means the market is close to balance. But again, that's just the county average, and the real story is in the neighborhoods. So let me break that down. The top neighborhoods by market performance. Cedar Park. The median days on market is 18 days. That's fast. And look at this. 46% of the Cedar Park homes are selling within 2 weeks. The median price is $484,000. Price per square foot, $216. And 37% are getting price reductions. Austin. Now I'm talking about Austin within Williamson County, and that's just a little small area. It's just 17 days. 47% are selling under 2 weeks. The median sales price is $520,000, and the price per square foot, $237. These are the hottest markets in the county of Williamson County. What's driving this? Let's look at the demographics. Newer construction, more attractive to remote workers and young families with strong school districts. That's Cedar Park and that's Austin right now, and they have a competitive advantage. For Round Rock, 25-day median day on market. That's well above average. 39% of the homes sell within 2 weeks, and the median sales price is $419,000. Round Rock is a stable market. There's demand, homes are selling, but there's also inventory. And if you're a buyer, you have options. If you're a seller, you need to price it right and stage it well. Round Rock's list to sell ratio is about right around 99%, meaning whatever the last sales price was, you do the price reduction, and then you go into contract. Once you get to the right price, it's about 98% of what you're getting dollar for dollar. And that's a healthy market sign. Georgetown. is 43 days on market, median. And that's 10 days longer than Round Rock and 25 days longer than Cedar Park. Georgetown represents 813 of the 2,760 sales, nearly 30% of all of Williamson County activity. It's the biggest market by volume, but it's also the slowest. So let's look at these numbers. Only 29% of Georgetown homes are selling within 2 weeks. 42% are taking over 60 days. The median price is $420,000. Price per square foot, that's $205. And here's what that tells me. Georgetown is where price reductions are happening the most. 58% of Georgetown homes are getting a price improvement, and that's the highest rate in the county. So if you're selling in Georgetown, you cannot be overpriced. The market will punish the listing and you will go unsold. But if you're buying in Georgetown, you have some pretty serious negotiation powers. Next is Leander, and we're at 36 days on market. 114 homes selling in the last, are in the fast lane, selling under 2 weeks, but 149 are in the slow lane, over 60 days. The median price is $384,000, and nearly 50% are getting price reductions. And this volume in the market is where pricing discipline is critical. And what I find is what most people are dealing with is the remnants of COVID and working out of that pricing that we dealt with in COVID. So in Liberty Hill, we have a 42-day on market, higher price market in a median of $498,000, but homes are taking time. 48% are taking over 60 days to sell, with a price per square foot of $198. And for Hutto, 45 days on market, most affordable market we've got right now in Williamson County, at $324,500. But here's the catch. This is also one of the slowest moving markets, with 53% of the homes getting price reductions here. So with affordability, that is the friction, right? The outliers are Jarrell and Granger. Jarrell, which is one of our more affordable areas, the days on market, 49% is 60 days. 49% of the homes are taking over 60 days with a median price of $250,000. And in Granger, just a little bit further out, that's 159 days on market. And this is an extreme in our county. There's very few home sales, and homes are staying on months, 5 months or more. And so this is more of a micro market where strategy is absolutely essential. So the insight, you can see a clear demographic divide. The closer you are to Austin, the faster you sell, with it priced right. The northern suburbs like Cedar Park and parts of Round Rock, still fast. Georgetown and the secondary markets, as you go further from the city core, slower. And then farther out, Jarrell and Granger, slower. And that's totally normal. That is a normal how the market works. But there's something counterintuitive I'd like for you to take into account. It's been told to us that newer homes and bigger homes will sell fastest. And that's not quite what the data is saying. So under the $350,000 mark, that's the longest wait we have right now in Williamson County. It's a 45-day median days on market. And that's not a short amount of time. And of that, in 2026 so far, 864 homes have sold, with an average price per square foot of $184. And that list sales price, again, I'm mentioning, is about 98.5. So from the last listing price to the when you went under contract, that last negotiation piece, there's still about 2% that's coming off the sales price. This is a volume market, lots of inventory, lots of competition. And if you're selling under 350,000, you're competing against 864 homes in our data set alone. So that's basically Williamson County. 864 homes you're competing against. You need to be the best house at this price point. 350 to 500,000, you're hitting more of a sweet spot. Well, sort of. You have 35 days, median days on market. 981 homes sold so far. And this is looking January to June of 2026. Price per square foot is $190 and 98.6 listed sales price. This is the most competitive segment by volume. But here's the thing. If you're selling in the 350 to 500,000 price range here in Williamson County, you're in a huge pool, almost 1,000 homes. So pricing again is critical. Now let's move up. Let's look at the 500,000 to 700,000. This is where things change. 25 days on market, only half as long as the budget market. And that seems counterintuitive. 574 homes have sold January 26 to end of June, and the price per square foot is $209. And again, 98.2% of the list of sold price. You start seeing, some similarities between list to sold. There's still negotiations even after price reductions. Then something shifts at 500,000. We get less inventory, which is normal here in Williamson County. But we still have qualified buyers, less sensitive to price. And if you're selling in this range, you are in a stronger position because there's just less competition. So let's move up one more. So the 700,000 to 1 million mark, that's a sweet spot for sellers right now. So the median days on market is 25 days. Now this is all being priced in mind these days on markets if you're priced right. Not priced right, you're not. These days on market doesn't matter. But in that 6 month period, 273 homes sold. And the price per square foot is $246. 98% list to sold price. As you can see, it's pretty consistent. No matter what segment you're in, it's about 2% off of this list price, whatever the current list price is when you go under contract. And this is a luxury market, this 700 to 1 million, but it's not slow. In fact, the homes are selling from the 700,000 to the 1 million mark are moving at the same pace to homes at 500,000 to 700,000 range. And you're like, I don't understand, Cindy. Why is this? Because you're selling to pre-qualified, motivated buyers. The pool is smaller. There's less competition. And over the 1 million, this is the premium market here in Williamson County. Again, we're at a days on market of 25 days, right? But there's only 68 homes that have sold in that price point from January to June. The average price per square foot is $309. So what does that tell you? On this price point, the list to sold price is down to 96%. So again, even at the start of whatever the list price is, on average, you're seeing 4% come off of that. And this is for Williamson County, the ultra luxury segment. And surprisingly, it's not slower. These homes are selling in about 3.5 weeks. The key insight here, and what we really need to focus on, and this is counterintuitive, if you're selling under 350,000, you're in the volume game. Longer wait times, more competition. If you're selling above the 500,000 mark, 500,000, you're in the scarcity game. Fewer homes to pick from, right? Kind of feels like what we'd had a couple years ago. So the sales are faster, not like COVID fast, but they're faster. And there's less pricing pressure on the sellers. This is why the lower priced homes may need a significant reduction to stand out. While priced homes at the higher price point need less adjustment. It's more like a little bit of a finesse to get the right buyer's eyes on it. This is when this, what I call market segmentation, really matters more than raw price. And that's why you hire a real estate agent to kind of go over this with you. So here's what I expect to see in a clear pattern. And the data really did surprise me. You would think newer homes would sell faster, but that's not what happens. Homes, again, we're in Williamson County, homes that are 0 to 5 years old, 50 days on market. That was a median. Homes that are 5 to 10 years old, 41 days. Homes 10 to 20 years old, 28 days. 20 to 30 years old, 29 days. So in homes 30 to 50 years old, 23 days. So after you go back a decade, you drop about 10 days on market. But homes 50 years older pop up to 41%. And we just don't have a lot of homes in Williamson County that are 50 years plus. They're there, but that's not what people tell you. They're like, oh, the homes that are new are going to sell the easiest. What I need to tell you is the brand new homes are taking longer to sell than many homes built 20 or even 30 years ago. And why? Like, why is this way, Cindy? Well, here, I think there are a few reasons going on. First, newer homes tend to be priced higher. That's counterintuitive, but they are. And they tend to give incentives to get you in. So higher prices mean smaller buyer pools. Second, newer homes often attract a different buyer mindset. People are more selective and comparison shop heavily. And they're looking for incentives. Older homes in desirable neighborhoods attract buyers who value location more than finishes. And the statistics analysis supports this. Home ages have almost no correlation with the days on market. But does it matter? Like, what does matter in this market? And what I'm finding through all of this research, what I do on a regular basis for my clients, is its location and price point. You can't get around it. You have to be in the right location and you have to have it priced right. A 2005 home in Cedar Park near strong schools may sell in 18 days regardless of age. A brand new home in a secondary market, say Jarrell, priced at $380, may take over 50 days. So when someone tells you older homes are harder to sell or buy, that's not what the data is actually showing. And I tell this to people all the time, pricing and location matters most, right? You can do three things. You can condition, pricing, location. You can fix the price, you can fix the condition, you can't fix the location. So let's talk about the home size. Homes under 1,500 square feet, that's the smaller end, are on our median days on market 44 days. 1,500 to 2,000, 33 days. 2,000 to 2,500, 31 days. 2,500 to 3,500, 31 days. And then 3,500 plus 29 days. So the smaller ones tend to be on a little bit longer and they drop over time. So here's the pattern. Smaller homes are taking longer. As square foot increases, homes tend to sell faster. Why? It's the inventory. That's what the inventory is driving. If you want a 3,500 square foot home, plus you choose from a much smaller pool of homes, there's less competition. And if you're selling under 1,500 square feet, you're competing against hundreds of similar options, right? So now let's look at another way. The bedroom count, right? A 2-bedroom home, 55 days on median. These are going to be like your condos. Very few single-family residences here in Texas have just a 2-bedroom. Some in Georgetown, but you have a third room. 3-bedroom homes, 33 days. 4-bedroom homes, 32 days. 5-bedroom homes, 29 days. 6-bedroom homes, 25 days. So you can see either that's multi-generational or you're still having kids in the household driving the number of bedrooms. The 3 and 4-bedroom homes represent the vast majority of sales. Vast majority of sales here in Cedar Park and the surrounding areas. What that means, again, is more competition. If you're one of these homes, execution matters. What I mean by execution, I mean pricing it right, getting it staged right, meaning the condition is right, right? Pricing, condition, location. Those 3 things are the key. You layer on top of that marketing, that gets the eyeballs, and then from there you have negotiations. That's after you get a buyer. So let's now talk about what all of this means if you're a buyer. If you're buying right now, here's what you need to know. This is what I tell my buyers. You have leverage. 46% of the homes had a price reduction, most likely before you ever saw it. And the market is not moving against you right now. Patience. Something wrong with patience. My rule of thumb is once you find the home, you move fast. But taking your time to find it, that is key. Fast markets are Cedar Park and Austin. What I mean by fast, the competition is fast. The turnover is fast. If that's where you want to buy, be prepared to move quickly. Know what you want. Everywhere else, you can afford to be selective. You can afford to take your time. Georgetown remains one of the most negotiated markets in the county. If you're not from here, Sun City is a huge part of that market, and Sun City makes up a big part of some of these numbers that I'm going over. So don't overpay simply because a newer home is newer. Location is first. Location is first. You can't change that. Now, for sellers, all right, I know you're out there. You're like, I missed the COVID. Those COVID pricing days are over. If you're selling price right from day one, no tippy toe in, no, let's see what the pricing is going to do. Price it right. 46% of all homes get a reduction. You don't want to be one of them? Work with me. You need a thorough market analysis to understand your competition before you list. And maybe this is not the right time to list. I will tell you, you're not going to get what you want. Just stay in it a little longer. Location is your destiny. Where your home sits matters more than when it was built. If you're in Cedar Park, lean into that advantage. Right? Cedar Park, you get Austin without Austin prices. If you're in Georgetown, price aggressively and realistically. And if you're under 350, understand you're competing in the volume game sellers. There's so many homes. I know you don't like to think of this. There's so many homes just like yours. There's thousands of them. You have to be the best option in your price range, in your neighborhood, on your street. You have to be the best. Number one. There's no ribbon for number 2 in this game. Staging and marketing become even more important in a slower market like Georgetown, Liberty Hill, Leander, Jarrell, and Hutto. That's part of what I do, right? Is the marketing and giving the seller updates of what the market is doing, right? And if you're in a slower moving segment, consider addressing price before buyers force the conversation. So there is your Williamson County market breakdown for 2026. The data shows a market with opportunities for both buyers and sellers, but competition depends on understanding your specific neighborhood, your specific price point, and strategy. And for some sellers, I'm sorry, what you want is not in line with what the market, and you need a real estate agent to tell you that up front before you put all this effort into selling. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or simply staying informed about what's happening here in Central Texas real estate, hit that subscribe button. I publish market updates on a monthly basis. I do neighborhood deep dives. I do buyer and seller tips, practical advice, lots of property tours. I love doing property tours, and that's going to help you navigate this market with confidence. And if a personal consultation about your situation, drop a comment below or reach out directly. I'd love to be of help. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.